Look, we had a hurricane not too long ago that wasn't even as strong as this. Look at that tree get blown sideways. Better hurry up, old school, you're gonna get blown away. Hey, what's up, Charles? It's got some squeaky belts, and it still has a vacuum that I have to take care of right here. Look, it's alive. So I've got to clean the paint, fix the de-donk the front suspension. Let's go check out this idle. Now the timing's not been set at all, so if it's a little lopey, I figured that much. It does sound really good. Oh yeah, gotta get that time set. It's beautiful. So as you see in the last clip, I actually got the Buick running and starting, so it's time to pull out Rusty's engine. I had already gone through here and put a timing chain on this engine, but what we're going to do is go another step further. We're going to put a cam. I got a cam for this, redo the head gaskets, and then we're going to rebuild, basically re-overhaul it again with better parts, and we're going to clean it a bit thoroughly. So that's exciting and going to be happening real soon. The Buick, as you just saw in the last clip, did I just say that? Anyhow, the Buick you just saw in the last clip that I'm going to show before this clip, it's up and running, no problem, beautiful, but decided that we're going to go ahead and ditch the old distributor. With the mechanical points in it, and plus it's got like 1,000,000 miles on it anyhow. And we're going to install an HEI distributor, so we're going to go ahead and show you how to swap your wiring from the going to the coil to a plug, and we'll basically upgrade to electronic ignition, and we should be doing that soon in the next video or so. So, finally, after all this time, we're going to start this bad mama jama. I'm going to start off first though and apologize for the wind. It's really windy out here. It's beautiful weather to us, but it's crappy weather for filming. What can you do? So the first thing we're going to do is we need to prime the oil pump in this thing. It's already got the fresh oil in there. We're going to have to pull this distributor out and prime the oil pump, and we're going to do that by taking the shaft out the center of this old wore out pump, and to use the fitting here on the bottom to spin the oil pump with a drill until we see the pressure show up on the gauge on the dashboard. Then we know that it's going to be safe for us to start this motor. Even then, we're still not going to start it. We're going to pop the coil power off. We're going to spin it a few times to let everything get that oil circulated, not just pump to the spots, but let the parts spin in the oil as well to get lubricated. Then we're going to plug in the distributor for good and fire this thing off and see what we can do about getting it tuned. Right, getting down with the shake cam. So I got the distributor cut in two, and that shaft dropped right out of here. So I'm going to put that piece in here and put a small weld on it, and then we'll be ready to prime this oil pump. Let's try the flashlight in here. Sorry guys, I'm a little spacey today. And watch for oil to come up and to see if we're getting flow or not. All right, here we go. So the forward is counterclockwise, so we're gonna go ahead and we got the drill on the 1 speed. If it's getting oil up to here, then that means we're probably got oil in many other places in a lot of the channels that we want it to be in, and so it won't do any damage when we do the first few spins on this thing with the starter. Starting to win. Get this in here. If I don't scratch the paint to shit. There's a cylinder right there. We're at top dead center. This is where we're just gonna lock down the distributor so it runs the oil pump, and we're turning the key. All right, never mind. I remember what we're doing. So we just stabbed this in, got the number 1 lined up so we can run our distributor. We know this is going to be our number 1 here, but we're going to put our little lock mount in here so we can spin the motor and just go ahead and prime everything. Get a spinning prime since we broke it free. Oh, the battery's already running. Go ahead and kill that. We got to get that battery back on charge. So we just finished up spinning the motor on the starter. Seems to spin all right. If your battery been charged and discharged so many times, it might just be done. No, I mean every single vehicle I got here that sits, that happens to it, regardless how charged I keep it. But he's going ahead and he's reinstalling the spark plugs right now so we can run these cables, and we'll prime the carburetor a little bit, and we'll see if we can't try to fire this bad muff. Got hella wind. And dealing with hella wind. Robert's got his plugs run. And what he's doing right now is this hooking up power to his distributor and his HEI coil. Gotta love that. They make these GM style HEI distributors for just about any damn engine aftermarket that you want. Makes things really easy. So he's gonna get that hooked up, and then it's gonna be time to try to fire this thing up and cross our fingers and hope that it doesn't die or eat itself. That's really what I'm worried about, it's eating itself. Alright, here we go, contact. Oh, stop. You're melting everything. Well, that's the trouble when you have to rewire your car 5 million times because of vandals. This is supposed to be the ground here, and it's what, let's see, focus right there. That ground is lit up. So he's going to have to do a bunch of testing and figuring before we can continue on and, figure out if we can get this thing to start. Also, it should, don't you feel like it should spin a little faster, huh?
Yeah.
It should be like, Many days later, Robert has gone through several various things and replaced several different control modules, and this is what we got it doing so far. Let me stand back. Go ahead. Wait. Go ahead. Alright. So, it has done that to either extreme. And so what I'm telling him to do is to pull his distributor and re-stab it in at 180 degrees, and we're going to retry that. Flip to 180, let's see what happens. No starter fluid. Alright, stop. Try that. Oh, what? What was that? Oh man, 180. Go ahead. Hold on. Some reason though, it doesn't want to continue. Try it like that. Stop. It's so close, but something's keeping it from not continuing to run. Go ahead. Go ahead. Alright, well it looks like we're wrestling here for a second, so let's figure something out. Cutting that camera. So this is a trike I put together out of a 7-speed and some spare parts. And I guess I'm only featuring this because I really don't have much to film this week. This is the wood crate that I'm building to set on the back. So I guess you can follow through the rest of me of putting this on. Turns out that the Jeep that I'm pointing at nothing over here. Turns out the Jeep carburetor's been is just too old, been too run for too long. It's gonna need a rebuild kit. It has an accelerator pump, but it has no idle circuit. We got the Jeep to fire with the starter fluid, as you saw, but it just never would keep a steady idle. Even once when it seemed like we did have steady idle, as soon as it ran out the starter fluid, it just died. So that's what's going on with that. And we're going to continue on with this box here. And I got another trike that I did. I did another dish soap paint job on a really cool trike, and I'll give you an update on the scooter. Cut some graphics out for it and kind of finished it off. So that's really cool, and we get to see that. I've been using the hell out of that thing. It's so much fun. So let me get back to finishing this, and we'll talk to you later. All right. So I got my box finished up. The only thing I got left to do is to drill some holes through it, mount it, some hardware. Should just sit right in there and look like that. What did you think about that? It completely changes the look of it, doesn't it? Sure does. Sweet. So I'm gonna get some holes drilled in that, get it mounted. Let's see if I have a connection for the 3-speed or not, but I am gonna put the axle hardware in. I want to ride it, make sure it doesn't rub anything. That's dope. All right, so y'all seen the finished paint job, but how about them decals, huh? It's all right. So I got rid of the grip. I really don't need grip. I've been riding this all over the place. It's great. And then got me a logo. And it was recycled from a bicycle group that I used to be a part of, and I got permission transmission to use it. So that's the finished up scooter, man. And like I said, I mean, it's hilarious, like the reactions I get. So I'm cruising down this thing like basically like I own the place. Just beating around on a bike with some big old tall handlebars here. I just finished scabbing this bike together out of spare parts. So we'll pull over to the side. I'll stop and show you guys what I did. Because BeckBuilt don't just mean cars, because Beck builds bikes too. But the scrapper found it, but it had no wheels. I took the forks off. I added the incredibly tall handlebars, the Springer forks, and the trike rear end to it, and I built this little wood box for it yesterday. Ride's really nice. It's got a brand new Sturmy Archer SC3 rear end on it. So it's got a little transmission, so it shifts easy. Pedal it around. But sometimes I'll do this if I know I got enough parts and that's gonna make some extra cash. I slept together a bike. Mardi Gras coming up and Jazz Fest after that, so this thing will sell pretty easy here real soon. I got another trike I can show you too, where if I got some more of that dish soap action going on. So let me jump on that. I just noticed it's got bird poop on it already, but this is the other bike I've done. It's a recumbent trike, and there's some of that really cool dish soap action. You see, it just livens whatever you want to liven up. It just livens it right up. This thing's a blast too. It's a 7-speed with a derailleur in the rear, basket. I mean, this thing is awesome. It's actually pretty fast and it's effortless to pedal. I guess I might have to build up my collection again. I'm going to put these up for sale, but until then, the wife and I are probably going to enjoy the shit out of them. Since the Jeep isn't cooperating and the distributor on the Buick isn't cooperating, I'm waiting for an HEI distributor to show up. I've got some things to wrap up on this here Ramcharger. So what we're going to finish up this video with is changing the pan gasket and the fluids in the transmission and get some cleaning up done. Maybe even put some grill back on, but probably just the transmission fluid. I gotta have some sort of wind. I'm getting beat. I'm getting beat all over the place, man. Stupid city of New Orleans posted up traffic cameras every freaking where, and then they got no signs up, so you just suddenly start getting tickets in the mail for school zones that don't even exist, because half the time there's not even a school on the block that they have the school zone in. So anyhow, 2 of the tickets I can beat, 1 of them I have to pay. So I'm, like I said, trying to wrap up. This project's been here for way too long, and it's not very far from being done. Just need to spruce things back up a little bit. So all you gotta do is undo these bolts to drain it. So what I usually like to do is undo 3 sides and then loosen one end to try to splash up and down to get as much of the fluid into the pan I can before I go ahead and drop it all the way. Filter usually pulls out, presses in maybe 1 bolt, and then you just put everything back. Do not use sealant on this or you will ruin your good day. So you can see I got 3 of the sides undone here, and it immediately just exploded transmission fluid out of me. This is the aftermath. Just letting it trickle out now. And the more I pry it open, the more it will pour out. And so we're going to go ahead and slowly undo the bolts that are across, where's my finger? The back side here, and get it to open up more like a hinge, and it'll dump out more. So we won't have to balance as much down. See, now it is really open. It hinged open just like I thought. I only have 2 bolts on the other side holding it. So I'm going to take one hand and I'm going to push this closed while I undo the other 2 with my free hand, and then we're going to lower this thing down and clean this pan out. Look at this shit right here. It is a miracle that this transmission works. Like, this transmission works. I've driven it. It shifts fine. But look at this. Look at that. Is that dirt? That's just dirt. Look, that's straight. That's a layer of just regular old ass dirt. How does that happen? Man. So this is, now here's the metal. That's the metal off the magnet. Look at that. Look how thick this is. Now, I don't know if this has never been changed out or if it's been on its way out for a while. Somebody did a terrible gasket job on it, which we're not going to do. We're going to do a better one than that. It's a cork gasket, and transmissions don't take sealant because it just creates a lubricant for the gasket to squeeze out while you think it's drying. It just creates leaks. But I'm going to have to clean this metal milkshake and sprinkled with dirt out of here. Get this pan cleaned up really well. We're probably gonna end up painting it before I step back in there. We're gonna try to catch some of this sludge action here. Let's see if you can catch this. Look at that. Now what do you think? Is that partially water? Is that metal? Is it water and metal? I know a lot of the dirt. There's the metal right there. Try to get this little, I mean, look at that. It looks like a hydro dipping. Look at that work of art right there, buddy. So I've decided that it wasn't dirt. It was just pyrite. These people have had this oil paint in here for so long, they've got pyrite developed in there. I'm just kidding. That's probably banned material. Like I said, I'd be real surprised if these people, sorry guys, but if y'all spend all this money on here just for us to find out that you're also going to need a transmission. I'm not sure. If it works, it works. If it don't, then it don't. That's about all you can do in these situations. Got this cool decal I cut out for this trike, concrete crusher. And for this other trike, I think we might go run in real quick while we're waiting for that pan to dry so I can paint it. Might go in real quick and cut a Cerberus sticker for this. Somebody had the idea of naming it that since it's a trike and it's such a beastly ride that Cerberus would be a good representation. So I think we're gonna go do that now. Alright, I'm gonna let that dry and we'll get it put back on. Sweet, so I got my two Cerberus stickers cut out. Let's go apply them to that bike frame. So this is the spot of the frame that I want to do on, put this on. Normally you'd wipe this down with denatured alcohol and all kinds of other jazz and make sure it's clean, but I just painted this so a little dusting will be fine. I'm going to test fit. Looks like it's going to fit just good, just fine. Now let's go ahead and put this bad mama jama on there. There we go. It's hard to get in the sun for you guys, but it's just that easy. Cerberus. Alright, nice. Got that done. Oh man, this looks such a fun bicycle. I might have to take it out later. It really hauls butt, seriously. But let's get back onto that transmission pan. Oh, UPS. There they go. Alright, so what I gotta do next is get the drain pan because I'm gonna pull this screw, this screw, this screw, and it's gonna make a little bit more mess, and I'm already making some mess and I'm gonna have to kitty litter up and clean. So let me get that and I'll be right back. Got my filter change. What I gotta do next is go ahead and wipe the excess fluid off of the gasket surface all the way around the edge. And then I'm gonna go another step further with some a lint-free cloth and some lacquer thinner and actually clean the surface really dry so that the cork will mate really well and pinch in the way it's supposed to. So a little basic bitch trick that I do is to hold the gasket in place. Some people will try to use a little bitty tiny skim of RTV, but I say no RTV at all whatsoever. It'll just make it leak possibly later. So I just kind of thread the bolts into the gasket a little bit and get it to hold in place. So I'm going to go stab this thing and get it started, and we'll finish off by tightening all this crap down. Here we go. Got my bolts in, tighten them around. No RTV. All I got to do is go up above and add transmission fluid. So sorry about the crazy up and down mismatched content that's been happening. I don't mean it to get all vloggy sometimes, but I'm not really hurt, but just trying to catch up on some projects. So gonna wrap that one up. Got a lot of stuff to do all the time, but gonna wrap this one up. I don't want to make it too long because my usual 20 minutes of nothing. And yeah, anyways, I'm gonna do some more things on this truck today, and then hopefully what I get to do with the next video is break down that Chevy 350 I got and stab the cam in there and get it built back up and paint it so we can finish up Rusty's chassis, get the engine mounted to the transmission with the clutch and everything, and then it'll be time to switch the 53 cab onto the chassis for that one.
Also coming up, we're finally going to get steel to do the body mounts for the Monster Carly. So hopefully we can make some quality content happen. And until next time, love what you do. Bye. 3, 4. 20 minutes of nothing is 20 minutes of nothing. You just wasted your life watching 20 minutes of nothing. It's not smoking crack, but you can't get it back. You just wasted your life watching 20 minutes of nothing. Thought it was something, my 20 minutes of nothing. It'll improve your life, my 20 minutes of nothing. In the comments below, that's where you're